Shalom Yashrala. This your brother Dawud from GMS Tampa Bay '07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachach Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to edify the elect. All right. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit, but still dealing all with the same thing, the end of Babylon, the unraveling of this system, all right, and what's bringing all these things into how they say like how all these things are starting to manifest themselves, all right, as far as bringing towards World War III, and bringing China into the mix now, all right. It says why Donald Trump's trade war with China is sure to fail, all right. This one here says the woes and risks of Donald Trump's ill-advised trade war are fast becoming a reality, endorsed by even the corporate media. All right. And, a lot of the low level peons, who watch like CNN and shit like that and hear whatever's going on, they, I see this firsthand, I hear and speak to certain people, or like, people in my family or whatever, whatnot. They'll be like, oh my God, did you hear about what Donald Trump did? Donald Trump over here slapping sanctions on so-and-so, and he the man, he blah, 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 and so on and so forth, but boom, he over here pushing up on these niggas. I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. This shit's gonna affect you, and it's only really fucking you up. This shit ain't against, these people like that. This shit is really a war between the governments and then the civilians. We the ones gotta pay for this shit, you know what I'm saying? And really, it's gonna hit you in the pocket, you know what I'm saying? Oh no, I ain't gonna be affected by this. Like, yeah, because you don't understand this shit. But nevertheless, it says, Trump wants to play hardball with China. On Monday, the U.S. president said that now was not the right time to talk to China about the ongoing escalating trade war currently taking place between the two economic powers. Now, when you understand the relationship between China and America, when it comes to trade, you know what I'm saying? They all each other needs. America and China, they stuck, together. Like, neither country could survive without the other, you know what I'm saying? So in all reality, like in a carnal sense, you know what I'm saying, China need America and America need China to survive. They would never really go to war with each other because let's say China did just nuke the fuck out of America and wipe them off the face of the earth, right? That would be suicide for China. Not because somebody gonna retaliate, but because who gonna buy all of China's goods? Because America is the number one country that buys China's exports and vice versa. All right. Like, how do I put this? China's biggest, China make the most money off of America out of all the people they serve, basically saying, in Jake talk, out of all the people that that China serve, America come through and spend the most money. You know what I'm saying? So China like, listen, I can still be the kingpin and stay number one on the block. You know what I'm saying? I could lose everybody else I sell to, but as long as I keep selling to America, I'll still be the shit. You see what I'm saying? And America the same way. They're like, yo, dog, with all the things that we buy from America, from China, Salakia, you know what I'm saying? America is keeping China afloat. All the other countries alone couldn't replace America from what China is buying from them, all right? And all the other countries alone couldn't supply America for all the shit that America bought from China. You see what I'm saying? So those two countries alone need each other, all right? But it says, just after negotiations between the two countries ended without any meaningful resolutions, basically talking about, the war is basically escalating, the trade war is escalating. It says it's not the right time to talk right now. To be honest with China, Trump reportedly said, it is too one-sided for too many. It's too one-sided for too many years and too many decades, and so it's not the right time to talk. But eventually, I'm sure that we'll be able to work out a deal with China. Okay, but really, he said it's one-sided as if they got them in a stranglehold. Trump like saying that shit, but really, hey man, America is the one who created all these damn deals, man. America the one who sold their damn self out, and there's really, no problem with no trade and no shit like that as far as what Donald Trump be selling to these damn Edomites here. Oh, we gotta cut China off. They're raping us at the register. So no, nigga, y'all the one who sold all y'all companies to be outsourced over there, so all y'all products can be cheap over here for these goddamn Americans. All right. Now you want your damn jobs back, but the products are gonna go up higher. All right. But nevertheless, it says Now is not the time to talk to China, apparently, but it's time to talk to Mexico. All right, in which China and Mexico now, if you've been understanding kind of some of the things going on in the news, all right, or if you go to the supermarket and you buy meat, on a weekly basis or whatever, you've been noticing the price of meat has been dropping. All right, because of what? China and Mexico are America's two biggest. How do I say that? China and Mexico are America's two biggest buyers of their meat. All right, so America actually, out of all the meat that America produces, all right, the bigger percentage of that meat that's been produced is being exported. So there's a larger number of meat that's being exported than the meat that's being consumed here in America. All right, just like with all the other shit that America got that they make. The majority of it is overseas. It's not even here in America. Just like they currency, the majority of actual physical currency on the planet Earth, like American currency on the planet Earth, is outside of America. Us Americans, so-called Americans, actually have like the 1%. We only have like 1% of the actual hard currency of American currency. The rest of it is overseas. But nevertheless, the meat here is cheap because China and Mexico decided, look, so y'all trying to hit us with these sanctions and shit like that, tariffs on the steel and shit. We're going to just stop buying y'all meat. So the meat is at a dirt cheap price right here in America. All right. So like I said, these wars ain't on against the governments. Really, it's against the people. All right. And if you might say, well, how the fuck is cheap meat? A war against the people. Well, like the scriptures say, victuals shall be sore cheap, that they should think themselves in a good case, But then basically sudden destruction gonna come on your ass, Just like the quiet before the storm, you gonna think all things are all good. Oh damn, everything all good, Just like really in Noah's times, they was eating, drinking, marrying and giving in the marriage party and having a good time. Everything was all good, and that's what you're about to start seeing with certain things here in America. All right, some things gonna get more and more expensive, They basically, it's a whole bigger picture and plan of what's going on, to how they're trying to drive up the cost of everything, all right, to make it so you can't afford it and take your job as a way to get you on this universal income, which would bring into play the mark of the beast, being that no man shall buy or sell save he that have that mark, all right? And that's one of the ways they're going to push it. You got so many people unemployed, and also the little gig, the new gig culture. The brother, your call in California brought that out, doing all this gig stuff, and I already was hip to that, like, yo, all this Uber type of shit, man. They got these Google cars right around the corner. Y'all niggas is setting yourself up, to be out there with no job and shit, But nevertheless, continuing on, it says, now's not the time to talk to China, but it's time to talk to Mexico, the country Trump accused of rapists, criminals, and drug dealers into the U.S. while ordering it to fund its $70 billion wall in the process. So what? Now, Trump says one thing, all these politicians, fuck Trump. All these politicians say one thing, you know what I'm saying? He got to say what he got to say to get so-called in office, Well, he don't, because they elected, or they selected, not elected. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, say one thing and be on some other shit. But these Edomites, you know what I'm saying? They good for using you for your services, but they ain't really trying to fuck with you like that, It says, despite Trump's staunch anti-Chinese rhetoric, senior administration officials appeared to indicate that the U.S. would be open to further negotiations with China, which in turn was welcomed by the Chinese government. Which, that's some lies, because they always talking to goddamn China, man. That's, again, China is like one of their biggest allies. Maybe not militarily, but China is one of their biggest allies when it comes to economics. If them Chinese import ships would stop coming, man, America would collapse over a fucking night, man. Because all these American companies and their taxes and their storefronts and all this extra shit, America make a lot of money off of that. China sell dirt cheap, and American companies are all built off of their product, all right? It says, there was some short-lived hope for a resolution process last week as Chinese delegation led by China's Vice Minister of Commerce Wu Xiaowen played their hand at low-level talks in Washington, hosted by the U.S. Treasury Under Secretary for International Affairs David Malpass. It says, however, like I said, man, they be talking all the time. You know what I'm saying? They got to talk all the damn time. Prices is fluctuating up and down, up and down, up and down. Shit, they talking about the nigga from Amazon is like one of the richest niggas out here now. You know what I'm saying? Off of Amazon. Well, shit, the majority of the products from Amazon with these niggas with these small ass stores is getting they plug is basically China. know what I'm saying? These niggas is hitting up the Alibaba and Alibaba Express and shit. That's they plug out there in China. They got the direct shit. And the majority of the stores on Amazon, you see, you getting the product from China. How much more everything else? You see what I'm saying? So these niggas is talking all day, every day about especially some trade. It says, however, these talks were mostly doomed to fail from the outset, given Trump's active hostility towards China. All right, and really one of the what they kind of beefing over is, or on certain things with China is the what they call the Spratly Islands in the South China Sea. All right, China then dredged them out some islands out there in the South China Sea. I don't understand. I mean, I ain't the smartest man in the world, but if you was to ask me who owned the South China Sea, you know what I'm saying? I would think it would be the Chinese, or the same answer to if you asked me who owned the land of China, I would hope you would probably say, well, the Chinese people. You know what I'm saying? They own China. You know what I'm saying? Well, who owned Russia? I would think it'd probably be the Russians. All right. But nevertheless, hey, man, America say, hey, look, man, y'all don't own the South China Sea. We got more authority over there than you. You can't build that shit. You know what I'm saying? And they don't want them to build up their own defensive walls around they damn borders. You know what I'm saying? To keep America out. But nevertheless, it says, even so, the statement from China's Commerce Ministry remained hopeful, saying that the two countries had constructive and frank exchanges and will continue to keep in touch about the next steps. All right. And actually, another thing that I don't know, they're not really talking about it in here. This is more or less talking about the trade war. But deeper than all this, one of the things that America is mad about with China, all right, because China is actually the man on the block, especially economically and trade-wise, all right? Russia the man on the block militarily-wise, right? But one of the reasons that America got their panties in a bunch of mad and shit, but they ain't gonna come out there and say it because they know that they can't acknowledge it publicly because they'll be called out onto it. Then China is gonna prophesy and say what? Art thou become weak as we? You know what I'm saying? Art thou become as weak as us? Nigga, hold up. We doing something that you normally would come over here and try to overthrow my regime and try to kill my ass publicly on TV, but we didn't did it live on TV, nigga. What you doing about it? You know what I'm saying? They didn't allow the BRICS nations to start, or the BRICS nations to come together, all right, which is, what is it? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. You know what I'm saying? And with China a part of that, but also you have China with the what you call the shit? Well, shit, they actually rebuilding the Silk Road as well to another trade scenario. But what is that shit called? The petro yuan. All right, China is dropping this new petro yuan, and which I got a story on that to come out too as well. China dropping that shit, yo, and they like, yo, really, we don't really need you, America. Hey man, like how Russia's being a guardian to everybody else, like, yo, these other nations don't need you for military equipment. You ain't the big dog on the block. Same way with China with this petro yuan. They like, yo, nigga, don't nobody really need you. We the big nigga on the block. If they want to sell and move oil, we'll take it. We'll handle that load for them. They can cut you out at lower prices, better deals. I mean, what you gonna say about it? Oh, you gonna bomb them, nigga? We got they back. And who got our back? With them? Russia got they back. Our back. So, I mean, you ain't running up on us like that. You know, the weak saying they're strong now, you know. And they also questioning America without becoming weak as us. Then they also looking at him saying, is this the damn man? Is this the damn devil? You know what I'm saying? The man who did weakest to nations. All right. It says, so what's behind the trade war policy adapted by the U.S. and where will it lead in the long run? All right. Really, they definite destruction. This is that snare that the Most High has set up for Esau to go down and let the pride of his heart deceive him and bring his ass into the perdition, into straight judgment, man. It says the short answer to this question is that Trump trade war will backfire on many levels against the U.S. And that's exactly what it's going to do. That's that snare I was just telling you about. And there's actually another article I'm going to bring out about, will this shit go nuclear? And that's exactly where it's headed, man. All right. Hey, man, the Lord is speaking heavily through these articles, man. He laying it out for you right here, right now. You see what I'm saying? And they coming back to back, like 4 or 5 stories in the same day. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes an hour apart. You know what I'm saying? It says the short answer is that the short answer to this question is that Trump's trade war will backfire on many levels against the U.S. This is not just the rambling of anti-Trump, anti-U.S. foreign policy writers. This is fast becoming a mainstream view. Man, this is fucking common sense, man. You see some nigga, man, hey, look, let me think of a good example of a tight-knit team, right? So, okay, like, let's say, I can't even give you the example, but nevertheless, you see certain things start to happen. All right, let's say Biggie and what's the boy name is Puff Daddy, right? Back in the days, let's say these motherfuckers would have lived, right? And you see them like Suge said, all in the videos, dancing, always on the songs. You know, we're gonna use that analogy. You always see them together, you know. They always together. Puff always dancing in the videos, always on the shit like take that, you know. But now all of a sudden you starting to see what? Them two apart. You know, you at an award show, Puff over here, Big over there. They, you know, Big doing videos and Puff not in them. You know what I'm saying? Big at the radio station, Puff not there. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of separate. You're going to be like, kind of like, yo, what's going on with them? You know, you starting to question. You're like, yo, are they cool? What's going on, you know? But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? You see the same things happening with these other countries. You know what I'm saying? These other countries is pretty much like that, you know? It says, it says this is not just the rambling of an anti-Trump, anti-U.S. foreign policy, but this is fast becoming a mainstream view, right? Like, so like the analogy I was given, you know, with the Puffy and the Biggie situation, you can kind of see a split coming, you know. Damn, they used to always be together. Now, you know what I'm saying, we know Puff the producer on the label and Big is the rapper, but now I see Big over here with Suge Knight and shit, you know. You start to question, is he gonna sign with them? Are they about to break up, you know? So you see, hey, what's the end of America's scenario, what they got going on, man? And look, you trying to go to war on all kind of fronts, man. You bullying the whole planet. That alone, you can see what the fuck going on from that shit, bro. Like, what you think is gonna come from that? Maybe all these people gonna gang together and just bum rush your ass, you know? Now you creating trade wars with everybody on the damn planet Earth. They gonna be like, Salakia. They're gonna be like, you know what, since this nigga trying to raise taxes and tax every damn body, we're gonna have to cut this nigga out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gonna keep, you know, like the mafia or them old drug dealer movies where they got this new nigga on the block coming around talking about taxing all the damn time, and all the smaller drug dealers like, look, man, we not gonna let this nigga come up on our block and tax us like this, bro. We can't afford this. We gonna all come together, put our differences aside, and fuck this nigga up. All right, and we gonna continue to eat. You know what I'm saying? Or on you know what I'm saying? Just all kind of fronts. You see all these things happening, all this build up, all this is inevitable to happen. World War III is we on a fast pace to it, you know. So you see this build up happening, you know. Like I said, you see Puffy and Biggie all in the video together. Now all of a sudden they separate. Now all of a sudden you see Biggie with Suge. What the fuck is going on here, man? You know what I'm saying? I think he might be about to switch sides. Same with these here stories. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, why Turkey dealing with Russia, man? I thought they was a NATO ally. Well, nah, look at how they, you know, the military coup, all right? The prisoner swap, all right? The economic trade war on Turkey, all right? Turkey trying to now buy the S-400. America threatening and Turkey denying to buy the F-35. You see what I'm saying? All in the videos, dancing, take that. Now, all of a sudden, you over here with Suge Knight now. You see what I'm saying? And now these other countries doing the same thing. Now you seeing other countries standing up, you know, the weak saying I'm strong. Oh, nah, nigga. You know, you seen what happened with Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi and shit like that. JFK and Abraham Lincoln. When you try to switch up the goddamn Federal Reserve note and central banking, get up off of the Rothschild banking system. You see what happened when that shit happened. But look, now these, not to say weak countries, but weak economic countries when it comes to you know, who got authority over the economic pool, trade. You know, these weak countries like China, you know what I'm saying, Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, you know what I'm saying, and all these other countries, Iran and them, these niggas now going onto the BRICS system, dealing with the petro yuan now. You see what I'm saying? That now they about to start, and Vladimir Putin about to come out with a goddamn digital currency for his shit. You see what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So, like, yo, all these countries saying like, yo, we know what y'all do to these nations who switch up the currency or the petrol currency, more or less to say, but we ain't scared, nigga. Run up in our country and do what you're trying to do and see what happened over here. You know what I'm saying? It says the U.S. have made more than 220 billion invested. So like it, the U.S. firms have more than 220 billion invested in China, according to the American Chamber of Commerce in the People's Republic of China, in which I think that's a false number. I think there's a whole lot more. But nevertheless, I mean, I believe they got a couple trillion invested. Like, everything come from over there, man. What you talking about? They got to keep this place afloat, man. But you look at them shipping containers and how much of them shits come in, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Just damn. It says China has no choice but to hit back at the U.S. and punish American companies for a war that their country's president has kicked off. All right. And really, yeah, it's in that way. How do I say? It's in that way in one scenario, but it's also how I say it's like what America doing in China is more or less like it's also fucking China up twice. All right, because like not only are we making less money off the goods we selling you when we export it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the trade, the sanctions, or not the sanctions, the tariffs on the shit. You got you taxing us basically. You know what I'm saying? So every time we try to sell our shit, we got to pay this extra luxury tax. You see what I'm saying? That's hitting us one way, but then it's hitting us in another way because what? Now production and shit is slowing down and sales is slowing down. So now our economy is slowing down. So now people is having to work less. You know what I'm saying? And certain shit like that. So now you fucking up the lower level civilization. Ain't nobody trying to buy this shit, It says in June this year, Chinese President Xi Jinping reportedly warned that Beijing would retaliate. All right. And really they got to, because like, yo, man, you got our niggas not going to work. Our plants shutting down. We're not moving the numbers we was moving beforehand. Because why? You threw these sanctions on us, which raised the prices of the shit, which niggas ain't really trying to buy that shit no more. And you shutting down your own businesses in your own country, making less production, less work for niggas in my country. You know what I'm saying? You fucking up the whole trade around the whole damn world. Now you trying to pull out the World Trade Organization, bro. You about to have the whole system collapse. We like a big Jenga tower, nigga. We need the base to make everything go. And the base, the foundation of this shit is trade and economics, global trade and economics in the system that they have built today. Once you knock that shit out, everything else crumbles. All right. It says really, because can't no nation survive independently. No nation can survive sovereignly. I mean, like America could. Really, America could, but I don't think they would allow any other country to. Really. How do I say? Geographically, no other country could damn near survive by its damn self. You see what I'm saying? They would need some kind of trade from somewhere else, especially how the weather and shit is nowadays. You know what I'm saying? They're not really producing everything to be all the way around. And I'm pretty sure they could get by, but to have it just a regular society like how they ain't missing shit, not traded with no other countries, they can't really do it. Look at Cuba. Cuba's stuck in time in the 50s because they can't produce enough resources to make their own country kind of decent, Because why? America is got them sanctioned the fuck out and anybody that's dealing with them, all right? It says, last month, the Trump administration put into effect 25% tariff on $34 billion worth of Chinese goods, which has, lo and behold, has been met in turn by China's 25% levy on $34 billion worth of U.S.-made products. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, who is paying this 25% on top? Like, these are products that is being bought from China to go onto American shelves. All right. So they hit China with this 25% tax, right? Now, the Chinese, they're going to pay it, but they're going to still make their money back. So where the fuck you think they're going to get their money back from? All right. So when we say this product, you're going to have to pay, basically include the tax in it, Just like, a little, not a scam, but a little gimmick that people do as a good little advertisement tool on the internet. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, we'll get you this shit here for free or whatever. Just pay shipping and handling, and the product be, they're like, just pay $19.99. Like, the shipping might have been $5, but you're gonna pay the $15. You know what I'm saying, or the $14.99. You know what I'm saying, for the product. But they be like, well, fuck it, just pay the whole this, and they telling you it's for shipping, but you actually paying for that and that, and you think you getting the whole deal. Same ass shit. But they just gonna pass this down to the consumer. All right. So when China start exporting goods to America, they're gonna just put the cost inside the product. All right, you just buying, let's just say, these shoes for $10. Well, y'all got a 25% tax on us and shit. So we're gonna just add this shit into the shoe sale. Now you paying, let's say, $12 to $15, right? And so now what American companies gonna do? Like, well, fuck it, we gotta pay the $12 to $15 for the shoes. We're gonna go ahead and just buy these bitches and mark them up to our people, our plugs that we're gonna sell them to. They like, well, fuck, they had to raise the price, so we're gonna raise the price. Now when you getting the shoes are costing you more. All right, but at the end of the day, that's the everyday Chinese people going to work, slowing down for them, cutting back on hours and paychecks for them. All right, and then it's also cutting down on or raising up the price for the receiver here in America, which is basically cutting back their buying power. All right, so all in all, this is just basically affecting, these Americans here, the everyday me's, use, him and hers, and then also the everyday Chinese people over there. Xi Jinping and Donald Trump ain't really being affected by this shit. All right. It says, Supposedly, China's reciprocity is set to target the 545 U.S. products worth this latter amount, including soybeans, whiskey, orange juice, electric cars, salmon, cigars. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't really understand why goddamn, but I do understand, because America really imports a lot of their shit and then they import a lot of shit that they need to consume. They'll import all of that, but then they'll wind up exporting whatever goods they have instead of using them. Like, America do got some oil, and there was a point in time when they was kind of tapping into this oil supplies. You know what I'm saying? And they were selling it. They weren't using it. America wasn't even using their own oil. They were selling it, and then they was buying oil from other people. You see what I'm saying? So like, this is how they do. So they'll sit here and buy certain shit, or how do I say, produce certain shit here in America and sell it off. All right, and then wind up buying that same product from somewhere else a lot cheaper. All right. It says renegotiating NAFTA has already raised a strong level of uncertainty for these U.S. businesses, and China's effort to hit back China's effort to hit back will only impact upon American companies harder, and really not the American companies. They're gonna pass it down to the American consumer, me, you, him, and her. All right. China has also already begun implementing what it warned would be qualitative measures, which are completely disruptive, disrupting U.S. manufacturers and exporters. Like I was just explaining, it's slowing down business for them, because why? The shit that they getting in, they raw materials and whatever whatnots that they getting in, or whatever shop that they getting in, to be China the plug for everything. Now when prices go up, hey man, shit, hey, you know what I'm saying? Speaking to Jake know how I be on the block, man. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was, it was a drought, and all we got is this fuck shit right now. So what we're gonna have to do is, and it's only a little bit, so we're gonna have to raise the price, and the quality of the shit gonna be gonna how do I say, gonna go down. What your customers gonna wind up doing? Oh man, this shit ain't no good, bro. We're gonna have to find somebody else. Or, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna lose customers, and they're gonna go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Go find the good shit. And they gonna go find the good shit where? At the doors of Russia, all right? It says no one seemed to have considered that China may be able to weather the storm a little bit better than the U.S. will. All right, because you know what I'm saying, America need all this imports to stay afloat. China just needs somebody to sell all their shit to. They make enough shit that they can sustain their goddamn self, but they need somewhere to get off all this shit, unless they have a lot of people that's just not working. They have a huge working population. They're going to have a lot of people not working, and they're going to have all these mouths to feed on a governmental program, which then is going to in turn cripple the economy of the Chinese government. All right. It says, give me 1 second, Slakia. It says this may be in part due to the weakened yuan, which entails that the effects of the tariffs might not be as strong as Trump himself may have initially predicted. It says, according to the July reading of the Chinese government Purchasing Manager Index, PMI, China did not see a sharp drop-off in exports, which appeared to hold reasonably steady. Again, because, hey, despite what the government doing, these business owners and stuff like that, the little stores, where again, they get all they plug is China. They be like, man, fuck what y'all got going on. Business is booming, and we not trying to take no losses right now. We're going to keep buying what we got to buy. You see what I'm saying? Whatever we got to go on. So China's still going to make their money. You know what I'm saying? And they're not paying the extra taxes. You paying the extra taxes, all right? It says, in case you need this spelling out for you, consider this brief passage from Quartz. The yuan makes Chinese exports to the U.S. relatively cheaper, dampening the effects of the U.S. tariffs, and for the Chinese business and consumer, a weaker yuan makes imports of American goods even more expensive, all right? Amplifying the impact of China's retaliatory tariffs. So America can't really sell their shit. No, and China really don't even want to buy their shit. That's why they was halting on the meat, them in Mexico, all right? You know what I'm saying? But America still got to buy off of them. America is a consumer nation, so America needs somebody to keep feeding them. And then also America needs somebody to keep buying their shit so they can have some little bit of change in their pocket, right? But see, with China not buying from America, all right, then they ain't gonna have that little bit of change in their pocket. And when China You know what I'm saying? Is pulling that titty up out the mouth of, well, they're not really pulling the titty out of the mouth of America. They still holding them down. You know what I'm saying? China, or America thought that, putting these tariffs and shit on China will fuck them up economically. But China's like, nah. This is why Donald Trump was accusing China in his campaign for election. Oh, they devaluing their currency, manipulating the market and this and that. They're like, nah, we not playing your game no more, nigga. We got this shit. We know what y'all finna try to do to us, and we not gonna let that shit happen. We gonna make you waste all your money, nigga. It says, Peking University professor Michael Pettis has argued that the Trump trade war will in fact not slow down Chinese economy on any meaningful level because Chinese government will provide a fiscal stimulus to cancel out all the fall exports to the U.S. Pettis believes that no matter how severe, Chinese GDP will remain unaffected by Trump's trade war because the Chinese government will do whatever is necessary to meet the growth targets. All right, and they've already been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because Esau Edom is a damn wicked slave driver. Says this is some amazing 4D chess, or perhaps Trump is simply a moron. The other thing to keep in mind is that not many competitors appear to be taking into account that the fact that China is not simply rolling over and firing back at the U.S. through tit for tat policy, but is actively looking at ways to outmaneuver the U.S. in the long term. And really, China is hitting them back and forth with that shit. You know what I'm saying? For example, in the last few months, reports began emerging that Chinese money production plants are running at near full capacity in order to meet the unusually high quota set by the government, with only a small proportion of the orders being for Chinese yuan bills. That's right, the Chinese banknote printing and Minting Corporation, arguably the world's largest money printer, is printing money for several countries, all right, including Nepal, Thailand, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, India, Brazil, and Poland. All right. So, like I was saying, Russia is being a guardian to them militarily. China coming with the financial scenario. You know what I'm saying? And what they currently trying to do is trying to replace America as being the sole superpower. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're finna take the power in our hands now. All right. It says according to one source in the corporation, the actual number of countries that plan to outsource currency printing to China would be even higher. Now, this is basically like the BRICS 2.0. One thing that these countries will most likely have in common is a desire or indication that they will take part in Chinese monumental Silk Road project and looming economic headache for the U.S. Like I was saying, it was rebuild damn Silk Road was going to be the new trade route to cut off America, because America was with that. Well, I believe it was not Donald Trump, Barack Obama, who put that in place with the. I believe it was called a TPPA. All right, Trans-Pacific Alliance, Trans-Pacific something like that alliance, whatever, dealing with Asia, But nevertheless, hey, look, they like, nah, we gonna have our own shit headed by us. Y'all ain't gonna be taxing us. We gonna be taxing them. You know what I'm saying? And all the trade go through here anyway, which goes back to the old days where that was the main trade route back in like the biblical days. All right. It says, in on itself, the money printing project will not cripple the U.S. or pose any immediate harm to the American economy, but it could be part of the overall game-changing strategy to the long run. Actually, it does fuck up the American economy because, look, what China is doing is not only creating a petro yuan, which is how they can sell and trade they oil, all right, but they also creating a currency and backing it, which is backed off of this petro yuan and the gold that China got, all right, and the trade that they doing, all right. They create these currencies for these other countries, giving them some kind of little power or jump start, all right? Now, these countries, if they stop dealing with the petro yuan and they got some kind of foundation, then all this money going to come back to America. Like I said, the majority of the money that America actually has in hard copy is outside of America. Once all that money come back to America, it's going to seriously devalue the American dollar over here, all right? And once that happens, your economy is completely gone, all right? So that's the threat that is posing for America. And for the government, it's taking the power out of their hand, because you want to move oil or do anything with oil, you need that American dollar, giving them, places to tax you with. It says, consider that when NATO powers wanted to overthrow Muammar Gaddafi in 2011, the British government seized nearly 1.5 billion USD USD worth of dinars printed by the British banknote manufacturer De La Rue, which put added strain on Gaddafi leadership before its inevitable downfall or his murder. Allowing China to print money, therefore, requires a strong degree of trust and is also reported to saving these countries millions of dollars a year. Really, it's not no trust. It's really that they can't do shit about it. They got Russia backing them. And China's got that stronghold with they trade because they feed America. While China is printing vast amounts of money and other notable U.S. allies across the globe, it is fast moving towards a cashless society, domestically speaking, which may end up doing miracles for China financial revenues in the long term. All of this economic talk is really going to bring the collapse and the crash of the economy, bringing in that mark of the beast microchip. All right. It says, the other thing to note is that the prevalent and ill-informed idea that China's economic growth is on a downturn may force China to tap out of Trump's trade war and may very well be the last, at least according to the Peterson Institute of International Economics in Washington. It says the conventional wisdom that fixed asset investment in China is slowing dramatically is based on faulty data, and there is no sound empirical evidence that consumption in China is weakened. But nevertheless, actually it is, because they fucking their own stuff with the shit, and these American companies, Americans ain't got the money to buy the shit, so what it's doing is slowing down, they buying rate. This is crucial because it is the complete misconception that China economy is in a battered, bedridden condition that has empowered Donald Trump to escalate the current standoff and state that now is the right time to talk to one of the world's major nuclear powers. Now, really, but look at all these companies over here in America that's failing. They all just shutting down because what? Ain't nobody really buying. We broke as fuck over here. Ain't nobody buying nothing. You know what I'm saying? The mundane line of thinking fails to take into account China's inability to fall aside the world's typical classifications, as Yukon Huang of the Carnegie Endowment think tank to aptly put it. China's financial and fiscal metrics simply do not point to Lehman moment, like the crash here in America, despite all the periodic warnings that to the contrary. Huang argued China's debt problem differs from the previous crisis cases that are the debt, and that is debt is concentrated in the state sector rather than among the private sector, meaning that, hey, look, a lot of they shit is dealing with America and they own bullshit, but they how they say their GDP and what's keeping them afloat, their foundation is strong. I mean, really, they just got a lot of debt out there, really, with just America. All right. It says China's current challenges may be more complex, but the financial situation in the late 90s was much more severe. And even then, the difficulties proved manageable. Yeah, but like how in Revelation 17, talking about some the nations that was waxed rich off of the whore. China was one of them. China's the main one. China doesn't follow the rules as other economies. As long as China had debt capacity and assuming the government has problems activating it. Trump's trade war may not have the intended effect on the Chinese economy. This is not to say that Trump's war with China will have an adverse impact on the economy. Quite the contrary. However, he's really giving them the fuel to the fire. This is that snare that he caught in. He think he fucking them up, but really he giving them the power and giving them the power to be the guardian to these other nations economically. All right. However, overstating the effects of this strategy and empowerment, Trump's hawkish position, while assuming that China does not have some dangerous tricks up its own sleeve as well as backup plan, will have an equally adverse effect on the United States somewhere down the track. Perhaps that this all points all along anyway. Really, it's going to end in World War III. But we're going to go ahead and close out with that. But Lord willing, you are able to see how these things are starting to come to pass and how all this stuff is starting to crumble and come unravel right in front of your eyes, But we're going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, to say the lessons edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push in this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. Stay strong. Shalom.